What's up, everybody? It's Glenn and Big Jack back with another edition of the Best Bets of the NFL Weekend video. Happy Thanksgiving to all you at home. We hope you enjoyed those three games on Turkey Day. Most notably for us, the Bears just pissing down their leg and blowing what looked like it could be a layup field goal for a tie, potential touchdown for a win. Instead, they just lose to the Lions. But it results in Matt Eberflus being fired. So first firing of a Bears head coach in franchise history mid-season. So we're pretty excited about that. But that's just kind of a side note as we head into our prime product, which is the best bets of the NFL weekend. Last week we both had 2-1 weeks, Jack. You love to see it. It moves me to 21-15 on the season. If you guys watched last week's video, I had only 13 losses in the record, but I actually had 14. I went back and double checked. So I'm 21-15 on the season. Jack, you are 16-19-1, prime for a 3-0 week to get you back to 500. How you doing, my brother?
Doing good, man. The only loser last week was one that you won on. I think we were opposite sides of that Rams Eagles game. Ended up getting ugly with the Eagles sort of running away with it. So, but yeah, stacking some good weeks. I was in quite a hole at the start of the season, so still plenty of work to do. But hopefully down the stretch we can keep it moving. And yeah, Bears game. They've covered a few in a row. They've, ever since the Shane Waldron firing, they've been a lot more competitive on the offensive side of the ball for sure. Unfortunately, the defensive side is what seemed to have been letting us down more often than not as of late. But like you said, the Eberflus firing was Christmas come early for some of us. Sucks someone loses their job, but he'll be all right. He's getting multiple millions in a payout, I'm sure. So tough to feel too bad for him, especially with how much of a cocksucker he was Sunday after Sunday. So good stuff for the Bears. And yeah, looking forward to another good week. Hopefully we can throw some winners out there and get this thing going. You've been dominant thus far, so just got to keep the ship rolling, baby.
Yeah, and for those who, or I guess nobody would really know, I was on one game pretty decently on Thanksgiving. That was the Packers, so I felt good about that play. Felt pretty happy about that. So hopefully that means that's a good omen for this weekend. As I like to stack all our weekend plays and turn them into a little parlay. So that being said, let's get it rolling. My first pick of the week. I'm going to go on a team I was on last week. It was actually the ones we were oppo on. I'm going to go with the Eagles again. They're playing Baltimore Ravens. I think it's just a case of the Baltimore, yeah, they'll probably score some points, but their defense just, I don't think will be able to slow down the Eagles too much. I think it's a great matchup for the Eagles, actually, the way their offense shapes up against that Baltimore front. I think the Eagles win. I think they win comfortably. They're 3-point dogs, so I'm going to take the Eagles. Eagles +3 going into Baltimore, getting a win, but covering the 3 points for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, both teams been playing some really solid football, especially the Eagles, absolutely rolling. After the way the Lions looked on Thanksgiving, you could argue that, the Eagles might be the best looking team currently in the NFL. Maybe a subtle, low key potential Super Bowl preview this week. I think it'll be a great game. I'm not on it. I know you've sort of been down on the Ravens all
Yeah.
year. So I like that you're sticking with your guns. And I don't know. I think there's something to be said about riding the wave with certain teams, and the Eagles seem to be moving in the right direction. So I got nothing bad to say about that pick. Hopefully they go out there and get it done for you. My first pick, I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars at home +3.5. Getting Trevor Lawrence back in the fold. It's a tight number. They're playing the Houston Texans, who I've also, similarly to you and your Ravens lean earlier in the year, I've been down on the Houston Texans
Yeah.
the entirety of the season. I think we've seen a lot of the regression in CJ Stroud's performances. He sort of had that sophomore slump, whatever you want to call it. He's been bad. He really has. I know that the team is better and looks different when they're fully assembled on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know. I'm not confident in that squad whatsoever. I don't think that they're suddenly going to flip the switch and be significantly better down the stretch of the season. I think they still scratch and claw, probably find a way to win that division. But I like the Jacksonville Jaguars to find a way to get it done and cover that number at home, lose by a field goal or less.
It feels like we've been on the right side of the Jags a lot this season. I feel like we bet them a few times, and then also like the Detroit game, we were both on Detroit in different ways. Um,
Mhm.
Maybe we know the Jags almost as good as we know the Bears. Who knows? But I like the pick. I agree. Texans don't look great. They just don't. We'll see. We'll see how they look down the stretch. All right, my second pick of the week. I like the Rams in a bounce back spot this week against the New Orleans Saints. Once again, picking a road team. This time they're 3-point favorites, though. I like them to go into the Superdome. I like them to get the win. Rams -3 at the New Orleans Saints. I think Rams are going to stay competitive. I think New Orleans is one of those teams that week to week they're probably going to look different. Just are they going to show up? Are they not down the stretch? And I'm praying this week they don't show up and the Rams get a comfortable win. Rams -3 at New Orleans.
Love that play. It sort of had my eye as well. And I've been on the same side. I like the Rams. I just kind of ended up steering away from it just because it seemed almost too easy. But Saints still at home. They've played decent at times when healthy. So maybe they give them a test. But yeah, I can't see any scenario where the Rams lose this game. So you just got to get it across the line with that number. My second pick of the week is one that's a little curious to me. I don't love given the track record. You could kind of play Tomlin as a dog blindly over the course of his career, and you'll have some pretty significant success. But I'm going to go Oppo this week. I'm going to take the Bengals at home, laying a field goal -3. I think it's a little bit of an attractive line for just in general. I mean, the Steelers are what 8-3, something like that, and they're getting 3 points in a division game on the road. I don't know. I just think the Bengals are desperate. Part of them feels like they could make a run here and still sneak in now that there's those 7 playoff spots. It's going to have to start this week off the bye. Joe Burrow's been, I mean, if the record wasn't so bad, Joe Burrow would be probably the leading candidate for MVP. He's been having a hell of a season doing his thing. I think they find a way off the bye to go out there and get it done against Pittsburgh team, who, as good as their record has been, I don't know if the team is that good. I think they have a tougher schedule down the stretch, and I could see a little bit of regression coming. I look for that to start. I guess it started last week with that sort of choke in that fluky weather game against the Browns, but I look for it to continue this week. I think the Bengals sort of put a beat down on them.
I've liked the Steelers a lot this season, probably more than most people out there. I do think they're a good team. That being said, if the Bengals can go out there and score some points, it wouldn't shock me if the Steelers can't keep up. So I don't hate that. I don't hate that pick at all. My last pick of the week, another team in a bounce back spot. The Chargers, they dropped last week to the Ravens. Um, I like them to bounce back. I like them to go to Atlanta and get a win. I am on 3 road teams this week. Don't always love that, but um, I've kind of lesser than the Ravens, but in a similar vein, I've kind of been lower on the Falcons than I think a lot of people. Um, yeah, I think Kirk is pretty good, especially in clutch moments. But that defense just is very incomplete to me, and I like the Chargers to go in there, even without Dobbins, and figure out a way to control that game and win that game. I think Harbaugh outcoaches the younger, inexperienced coach that the Falcons have in Raheem Morris, and I think the Chargers take care of business, find a way to get a win. In that road spot. Chargers -1. That's my third pick of the week.
Yeah, the only thing that would concern me, like you brought it up there towards the end, is the J.K. Dobbins moving to IR. I think that they just announced that maybe yesterday or the day
Yeah.
prior. And they obviously lean so heavily on the run game. I guess it's a little just more of like a curiosity of the unknown of what that offense is going to look like, minus a guy that's been the focal point. But my thoughts generally on running backs. It's
And I will say, losing Dobbins is going to hurt them against some teams. I think against Atlanta, I think whoever they put out there running back, I think they got Gus Edwards. Maybe they got another scat back out there that I don't know of, but I think the running backs will be able to do the job against Atlanta. Maybe you go up against a Pittsburgh or a more sound defense, and maybe you have a tougher time. But I think they can still handle the job against Atlanta.
Yeah, I think it's, it all comes down more so to what your line can provide for you and scheme in general. And I'm sure they'll continue to do a good job of that as they have all year. And yeah, that Falcons defense has been suspect to say the least, with a offense that's been spotty at times. So hopefully the Chargers go out there, find a way to get it done. My third and final pick, I'm not even going to get into it too much. I feel like so much is telling me not to do it, or even that the other side is the play. Seahawks have been good on the road all year. We've kind of commented on, both of us have sort of made some hay being against the Seahawks when they're at home a couple times. Seahawks it's the pick 'em. I mean, it's technically Seattle +1 with like pretty heavy juice, or they're both. I think the Jets are -110 on the money line, or -112 on the money line, and the Seahawks are -108. I'm going to take the Jets money line off the bye. Seems like a team that's left for dead, got nothing to play for. I don't know. It feels like to me in these spots over the course of his career, I know he's looked a lot different this year. Doesn't seem to have the mobility, and that's really hurting him. People don't realize, us as Bears fans know, Aaron Rodgers hasn't ever really been thought of as a mobile quarterback, because he's one of those guys who keeps plays alive to still throw. He's a scramble to throw guy, and he's dominated his entire career doing that. And that mobility just isn't there. So maybe I'm just, thinking too much of the past, and maybe it's just over for him. But I think he comes out of the bye over, like I said, he's had so many moments throughout his tenure where everyone thinks his teams are left for dead, and he pulls a little something out of his ass, makes a run, makes a statement. A lot of chatter with the Jets firing their GM. They already moved on from their coach. Seems like they're going to move in a different direction. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Rodgers plays some really solid football down this back half of the season here. I like for them to go out, find a way to get it done. Seattle in a tight divisional race, they need a win. I think money line play looks easy. Everyone thinks the Jets suck. I don't know. I think it goes the other way today. I like the Jets on the money line.
You're right that the easy pick, and you mentioned it earlier on the Rams -3. You're right that the easy pick is just telling you to take the Seahawks here. So I like where your head's at, going opposite, going Oppo. Oppo the easy pick, and it's honestly probably the smart move, so I respect it. As far as Rodgers goes, you take or leave the guy. Obviously hated him in the Packers uniform, but, it is what it is now. So, all right. Those are the picks. Quick recap. I'm on the Rams, Chargers, and Eagles. Jack's on the Jaguars, Jets money line, and the Bengals. Let's try to stack these games. Maybe cash a parlay. We went 5-1 a couple weeks ago. Would have been sweet if we hit another one, but we'll see if we can't get lucky, hit one more before the season ends. I feel like we're playing with house money considering we hit one already. So let's just try to keep positive momentum going, try to build these records, and maybe get lucky. But at home, like and subscribe. Jack, any last words for the fans?
Oh, man, that facial hair is looking clean, though, boy.
Yeah, I got some thick facial hair, man.
All right, man, let's keep it going. 6-0 this week. Get the winners flying. Enjoy it. That season's moving along, man. It's
so
crazy.
quick.
We only got 5-6 more weeks here, so enjoy while it lasts. Soak it up.
It's so quick the whole season. But then also, like, if your team takes a shit, like we were 4-2, Bears take a shit for a few weeks, season's over. It sucks.
Yeah, now it's just a march, a death march, but
Yeah.
we'll be there every step of the way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Bears.
Bears.